Speaking of shifts in consciousness, if a people were genetically engineered, hominids, it would be easy for generations of governments to pass, and that people and governments could be made to think that all was normal. They could easily be under the spell of the gods, thinking they have great power, and could still be primitive workers, just using their own slaves in their evolution. But in the end, when the gods return, they will have to turn over the gold like they have always did. This is very possible. Think about it. Black people are descent of Anunnaki, and they were captured and placed as slaves for over 300 years. So it would be easy for the gods who left to hoodwink them, to work for them until they return. So what I reveal here is not far-fetched. You are now in tune on the One, the Force itself. FEMA had outlined, started in 2009, 11 events called national planning events. The first one was February 2009. It was called National Concept and Objective Meeting. The second one was April 2009, called National Initial Planning Conference. Third one was September 2009. It was called National IND Seminar. The fourth one was November 2009. It was called the National Midterm Planning Conference. Fifth one was February 2010, National MSEL Synchronization Conference. Sixth one was March 2010, the National Final Planning Conference. Seventh one was April 2010, International IND Seminar. 8 was April 2010, Principal Level Exercise. 9-1 was May 10. It was called NLE 2010 Full Scale Exercise. And the 10th one, planning event, was June 2010. Was called Eagle Horizon After Action Conference. Now, this one tells a story, the 10th one, June 2010 Eagle Horizon After Action Conference. It appears that this conference was to determine what action would be taken after the event anticipated called Eagle Horizon event. June 2010 was called Eagle Horizon After Action. You could hear it. What are we going to do after this thing happened? So, if we look at the devolution or devolution, which seems to be a key word, the distribution of powers or the dictate of duties after such event as Eagle Horizon. Eagle Horizon means something coming off of the horizon or something that's going to happen at a certain time. So devolution or devolution, which is a supposedly code word in the conversation about this matter, that's in the technologies about this work, the distribution or the shifting of powers, of the handing out of orders of what this department of the government should do, this department should give up this. But we also see that if IGI.GI is coming back to pick up the gold, you can see a total shift in government. So it could be on that level. It's a multi-level kind of thing taking place here. Let's look briefly at the last national planning event, July 2010. It was called the National After Action Conference. So there's going to be a big thing happening. It started in 2009, but the total Eagle Horizon event hasn't come to fruition yet. It's something that they're still anticipating to happen, and we're waiting for that to happen. You know, looking on the horizon to see if that would happen. But I found number 10 very interesting. Planned events in the planned events of 11 June 2010 Eagle Horizon After Action Conference. So I hope I've opened your eyes a little bit to cause you to think of what's fixing to take place here. Again, you are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. I'm your brother, the Rastafari, Ike Tall Iron here at American Beach here, trying to make a few bucks here on Saturday. It's windy, and I think we got some hurricanes out in the Atlantic brewing up, so we'll sit around and see what's going on. If you want to support me, I'll put the email up here. If you're on PayPal, you can send me a donation through the email there on PayPal. If you want to do it a different way, contact me and let me know what you want to do. Peace. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. There are several places in the ancient texts, ancient Sumerian texts, where it is referenced to the eagle. We are speaking of the Eagle Horizon event. We know that the horizon is a plane where earth meets sky. We at UNN 13 feel that this Eagle Horizon event is the expectation of visitors from the heavens. There's a possibility that the scheme of the Anunnaki, the gold mining scheme, is still in effect. As I can recall in my research, the 44th orbit, or the 41st revolution of the Anunnaki, when they came to Earth for the 44th time, there was a mutiny. And the mutiny was, they were tired, you know, they were high and mighty, they were tired from mining the gold, and they devised a scheme. Enki came up with a scheme to create a primitive worker, and the elders, the higher ranking officials asked Enki, how will this come about? So Enki said, we have here on Earth already hominids, creatures who hadn't quite evolved yet. We will put the mark of the gods on them and make them primitive workers. So the Anunnaki did. So it appears from my research that every time Anunnaki came to Earth, it was to retrieve the gold. So what if at this time Anunnaki, we say the IGI.GI, because the IGI.GI, we will distinguish now what is IGI.GI. The IGI.GI were those rebel souls, or somewhat like the fruit of Islam, the guards, the ones that were the watchers. They were placed on Mars, and they manned hovercrafts. They watched the Earth, watched the movements on Earth, and I'm sure that NASA is aware of those ships now watching the Earth, and they have gotten information that IGI.GI will be coming to collect the gold. There's a great possibility, because not only will they be coming to redeem the chosen and elect, or we that were left behind in those days, we are descendants of them, coming to collect us, but also to collect the gold. We've all heard that, okay, there's no gold in Fort Knox, and we noticed that At one time the government, and right now they're trying to gather up all the gold, you know, even the pawn shops, turn your gold in, and all this type thing. So what if there was a scheme back in the day? We know we went through slavery and America was built off slave labor and all this type thing. But what if in the Anunnaki scheme they were still using the created beings upon the earth to mine their gold, and they're going to come back and get it at a certain time? I've heard some people talk about there's a possibility that that's still going on. Well, I was researching this matter a few mornings ago, and it dawned on me, hey, that's what that could be. I believe that that's what's happening. And I'm going to read from Exodus. Exodus has a lot to do with this, because this is actually the Exodus of the slaves, the ones that have been slaves here in America for around 300 and some years. In Exodus chapter 19, it says, we're going to start at verse 3 and go to about verse 4. It says that, "And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of the light, the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself." Note the eagle's wings. Now we've all heard the phrase, the eagle has landed. Now we know that the eagle is a symbol of a spacecraft. And in the ancient texts, when the Anunnaki came down, the first Anunnaki that came down, it's written in there that he put on his eagle's helmet. So we see in the ancient texts depictions of men wearing eagle suits or wings. So this could be where the Christians get the concept of the angels with wings. There's also a story, a Sumerian story of Etna, where Etna took flight on this eagle. And some scholars are trying to figure out where does the allegory start and ends, or where is the technical history starts and ends. But we can deduce that when eagle is mentioned, it is a spacecraft. So eagle horizon indicates something is about to happen, and we at UNN 13 feel that the GG is coming back for us, and they're also coming back for the gold of the Anunnaki. Now, could it be possible that the government is trying to steal the gold, don't want to give the gold back, and there might be a war for the gold? But we know that the war in Iraq was about the ancient wisdom, basically. Some people say the vortexes are there, the stargates and all this type thing. But there's a lot going on right now. Elenin, Nibiru coming in, making a 3,600 year orbit, and this Eagle Horizon event. So we're up for a rude awakening. I just want to throw that information out and say, look at it. It's a great possibility, and I do believe that that's what the Eagle Horizon event is all about. And we read Exodus. You know, Exodus is the chapter where the children of Israel was leaving out of Israel. So this is actually our redemption time. We've been here in slavery on different levels for quite some time now. We've been here on subtle levels, and we've been here on physical levels, and we're still slaves, and this natural disaster is our freedom, this climax of the polar ice shift. And a lot of people say we've made a lot of progress, and they don't want to talk about this black and white issue, but it is black and white. It's cut and dry. I mean, we don't hate anyone. We know that we had to pay the karmic debt for what our ancient ancestors did. The Anunnaki is the ancient ancestor